Can everybody hear me okay? All right, awesome. A couple things to put on the table immediately. I'm not Vanilla Ice. Can you hear me? All right, what I was saying was, I want you guys to know I'm not Vanilla Ice. If anything, I'm just the vanilla part of Vanilla Ice. I'll do my best not to put you guys asleep. A lot of this stuff is pretty technical, but I'm gonna keep it really simple, and hopefully you guys can take some of these tactics here back to your marketing teams and implement them in a digital marketing plan. So first off, before I start, MultiView, we're a digital marketing firm, and really our specialty is focusing on putting ads in front of very niche audiences. So we're going to talk a lot about data. We're going to talk about targeting tactics, and I'm going to really focus on helping you guys understand what your customer's journey looks like and how to advertise to them within their buying journey from top of funnel all the way through bottom of funnel. So we're going to look at things, like I said, the buying journey. Everybody's different. With the internet being in our pocket, a lot of people do self-research. So there's going to be a lot of keyword searching. There's going to be a lot of articles being read, people ranking different websites. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about the types of media people might encounter during their journey. And then I'll dive into some marketing tactics like programmatic advertising. And really, I'm going to spend a lot of time on programmatic because I think that's a great way to target consumers and on the commercial side as well. And then I'll touch on search engine marketing and social media, which are a little bit further down the funnel. So to get started, I like this slide because it shows you what people are doing every 60 seconds on the internet. So I'll leave it up here for a second. Notice Facebook, notice Google, LinkedIn. You're going to see a lot of apps you probably use, Netflix, YouTube. These numbers are pretty insane. There's 70,000 hours of video watched on Facebook every single 60 seconds. People are searching 3.8 million keywords on Google every 60 seconds. So what this tells us, people are glued to their phones, glued to their computers. Now, if you think about the buying journey, you got to look at it a little bit more in a complex way. It's not as simple as your top to bottom funnel anymore. People aren't picking up phone books to find you. They don't really have a Rolodex anymore. We all collect cards at trade shows, but what do you do with a card, really? Really, you can probably throw the card away and go to LinkedIn and find whoever you want to, right? So everything is online. When people have a problem, what do? They go to Google to try to find the solution to their problem. They're reading reviews, they're talking to their peers on social media. So the buying journey has evolved into more of a roller coaster scenario. There's a lot of content consumed, and there's a lot of areas for you to those people and really influence them through this journey. Now, as you might have noticed in your own browsing history, you see ads everywhere. You can't go to any website without seeing an ad or a video popping up. So the types of media that your clients are seeing throughout their journey range from banner ads to Google AdWords to video. They're going to association websites and reading articles. Sometimes they're sponsored or paid articles. They're getting newsletters on a daily basis. There's ads within the newsletters that they're consuming. So again, as people explore this journey and as they make their way through this process, there's plenty of areas for you to be able to serve ads and influence them in real time. So let's talk about audience. As people browse the internet, there's opportunities to basically look at a user's history or look at their data and determine whether they're the right person to advertise to. If you do this correctly, you'll be able to put ads in front of people who either look like your audience or act like your audience. And really, a lot of this presentation is going to focus on those two things. Advertising to people who look like your typical buyers. Maybe they have the right job title, or maybe they have the right income levels. And then being able to target to people who act like your buyers, who are doing research, they're searching keywords, they're going to certain websites. Maybe they're on your competitor's website, or maybe they're on your website. So if you can build a campaign, a digital campaign that focuses on these characteristics and these actions, you're going to have a really, really efficient way to reach your buyers in real time, online. So I mentioned there's a lot of different types of media that your buyers online are consuming. Here's a couple of them that are pretty traditional. Like I said, I'm going to focus mostly on programmatic, search, and social, but there are ways to reach your buyers in more traditional fashion, like association advertising, putting an ad on an association website or within their newsletter, or maybe finding a website that you know your clients go to. Maybe there's a Zillow.com that allows advertising on it. You know your audience is there researching homes and researching builders. You can put an ad there, and that's more of a traditional type of advertising. So to dive in, I want to start with programmatic. And you guys are going to hear a lot of buzzwords. Don't worry about it. They're just buzzwords. I'm going to try to simplify them. The industry comes up with words every day, and I'm learning them just like you guys are. You've probably seen these. So to start, does anybody use programmatic advertising now in their marketing campaigns? No? Has anybody heard the word and just don't know what the hell it means? Yeah, one person? All right. Programmatic advertising is very simple, and you've all seen it before. Programmatic is the automated and data-driven way to buy and sell advertising. As a marketer, all it means is you're programming a technology to buy ads for you. The way you're programming it is feeding it data, and that data is information about your buyers. So let's talk about times you've seen it before. Who shops on Amazon? Anybody? Everybody? It's all I shop on. Now, if you put something in your Amazon cart and you don't buy it, Amazon knows that, and guess what? You're going to see that thing following you around the internet for the rest of the day because Amazon wants you to buy that thing. That's an example of programmatic advertising. It's retargeting. That's another buzzword for you, retargeting. You've heard that one before, I'm sure. All it's doing is saying, okay, this person has shown an action on my site. It was a buying behavior for product X. Since they showed a buying behavior for product X, I'm going to advertise product X to this person because I know they're interested. And if I can put this product in front of them 10, 15 times, maybe they'll be comfortable enough to come back to Amazon and buy it. And we usually do. It usually works on us. So again, programmatic, it's an automated way to buy ads based on data, based on action, based on characteristics. Now my goal here is for you guys to be able to take some of these tactics and implement them into a digital marketing strategy. And this is the easiest format. This is the easiest platform to get going ASAP. Everybody knows AdWords. We'll get into that. That's something you can start too. But as far as prospecting and reaching clients at scale, programmatic's the way to go. So here's some stats for you. I'm not going to read over all of them, but the big one, 65% of all digital ad spend will be programmatic this year, which is crazy if you think about how much advertising is out there on the internet. $70 billion last year, up to $84 billion this year, and it's just climbing and climbing and climbing. Now, the traditional programmatic that I'm talking about today is going to be display and video, banner ads and video ads, the ads you see before you watch a YouTube video, for example. But pretty much everything is programmatic these days. If you have a Roku or if you have a Netflix free account and you see those ads that kind of interrupt your program, those are programmatic. They're targeting you for a reason, and we'll get into that. There's programmatic audio. If you listen to podcasts, you're getting an ad that's different from the ad that someone else is getting who's listening to the same podcast. It's all based on where you are, location-wise. So it's not going anywhere. This is something that you guys really need to implement here. So the first thing I want to talk about is data. So we talked about programmatic being the way to automate technology. You feed it with data. So let's talk about the different pools. You have first-party data, which is everything you own as a business. These are your clients' names, clients' email addresses. It could be your website traffic information. If you have a CRM, anything you own is your first-party data. This is going to be the most important data that you can have in a programmatic campaign. Second party is someone else's first-party data. So maybe you have a partner. Maybe you have a sister company. Maybe you work with a company like MultiView. We have our own data that you could utilize. Facebook has its own data. Google has its own data. So second party, super simple, someone else's first party data. And then third-party data is data that you can buy. So there's big companies out there like Nielsen's who go out and collect information about your buyers, income levels, where they live, what TV shows they watch, job titles, revenue numbers for businesses. There's hundreds and hundreds of data providers out there, and what they do is they package this data online and they make it available for you to purchase in a package form. So if you do this correctly, you can take your first-party data as kind of the baseline group, and then you can layer on second and third-party to make your audience much stronger and much wider. So now let's talk about the technology side of things. Again, data automation equals programmatic. The first tool, and to kind of back up, the way I like to explain this is from top of funnel down. So everything I'm talking about right now is going to be top of funnel, audience-based targeting. We're putting ads in front of these people because they look like your audience. They haven't searched for you. They haven't indicated that they're looking for a builder or remodeler or anything like that. It's more of they have the right income levels. They work at the right type of businesses like Toyota, who might be looking to move to Texas and build a home. Here we're looking at demographic and firmographic characteristics. Maybe. Here we go. So with persona targeting, think of it as segmentation. You're building a bunch of groups, and those groups are filled with people who meet the ideal buying parameters you're looking for. And it could be anything. You could say my buyer is a male between the ages of 30 and 60 who makes $100,000 a year. That's a persona group. Think of it as being able to bring all of your buyers into one room, and you have a bouncer at the front door, and that bouncer only lets your buyers into the room, and then once they get in the room, you can put your message in front of those people. That's essentially what persona targeting is. I think there's a little video here. On the commercial side of things, if you're targeting business professionals, maybe VPs of marketing, or buyers at certain companies, you can filter by industry and job title and company type and revenue numbers. So you can get pretty detailed here when you're building out audience segments. Now the goal with any kind of audience targeting is brand awareness. You don't want to put an aggressive message in front of them. You don't want to put a call to action in front of them. This is more of, hey, you fit the mold, you should know about my business. Now this is a little bit, I'm going to explain this a little bit differently. Company targeting is more of a B2B type solution. If you're targeting businesses, this is the way to go. It's an account-based tool where you can have a list of businesses. You can work with a vendor to match those businesses to an IP range. Once you have the IP range or you know what internet they're using, you're able to serve ads to those people at that business. So it's a really great way to get your message out in front of just a large group of people who are at a certain company. Now on the consumer side, we've used this in a really interesting way, especially in this space. Say you know a big company is coming to Texas, like Toyota. You know they're moving a large group of people to Texas who are going to need housing. You can actually use this tool to target Toyota, target their employees to put your home building ads in front of them. So it's just a different way of thinking about it. The tools are very flexible, but with company targeting, again, it's more of an account-based targeting based on the company type tool. And I think my marketing team put a video in here to freak everybody out. So here we go. It's not creepy, it's just science. So in this example, we're targeting Chase. We know where Chase is. We're going to isolate Chase. And because we know the IP range, we know the location, we're able to tell the ads and tell the technology to only serve ads in this radius at this one company in front of these group of people who are working at Chase. Very effective. You can even tailor your ad messaging. Again, I'll bring Toyota. Maybe you put a Toyota car, a Toyota logo in your ad because you know that ad's only going to Toyota employees. So in the same manner, we have location targeting. This is where you can use GPS information to isolate a building. We're actually doing it right now. MultiView is for Tab. We do their marketing campaign. So we call this geofencing. It's very simple. You draw a digital circle around a building. Anybody within the circle is going to see an ad on their device as they browse the internet. So you can use it in all kinds of ways. You can use it around trade shows. That's where I see the most common campaigns being used, because you know there's a big group of people who are at one spot, one time, really, really efficient. You can use it around locations. It could be neighborhoods. It could be zip codes. It could be around Starbucks. You could put it around anything you want to. I have a client who targets people in the parking lot at AT&T Stadium during Cowboys games. So location targeting, the only thing you need to know is draw a circle around a building, serve ads into the circle. Now, data onboarding, again, this is all audience-based targeting. This is something to where you can leverage your first-party data if you have it. So this is more based on email addresses. On average, people receive about 121 emails per day, whether it's a consumer-based email or a business email, and I'm sure you guys experience it too. My clutter folder is just every day, 100 emails. So if you have an email list, of course you're going to email them, tell them what you want, or try to promote to them, but just know you're one of 121 emails these people are getting. So with data onboarding, it gives you an alternate path. If you have that email list, you can actually take the email list and match those emails to a device ID like your phone. If my phone is logged into my Gmail on my phone, the technology can pair the two pieces of data together. And now, since I know that person's connected to device ID 523, I can now serve an ad to that device 523. And this can work this is mostly a mobile campaign, so this is going to work for any kind of smartphone, tablet, or laptop. Again, it's just another way to leverage a email list. Another little example. This is actually what happens. They take an email list and then it looks like this with all these green numbers, and then it spits out ads. So moving along, everything we talked about today so far has been top of funnel audience based. We're targeting based on the fact that they look like your buyer. Now we're going to go into middle of funnel. This is targeting people who are acting like your buyer. This is very, very important. This is probably the most important part of programmatic advertising, because what you're able to do with this technology is target them in real time. So as people are searching for your company, as people are searching for the top home builders in Dallas, as people are researching your competitors, you're able to pick up that action and serve your ad to that person to influence their research phase. You want to make sure your brand is included as they're researching. So with behavioral, there's all kinds of things that you could focus on. The main tools that people use are search retargeting, so focusing on someone who has a history of searching certain keywords. There's contextual retargeting, so focusing on people who have a history of researching certain articles or reading content, consuming certain keywords within content, maybe watching videos. You could program this thing to target people who have clicked your competitors' ads. That's an action that's pretty important. You could even target people who have a history of going to your competitor's website. That's an important behavior. So long story short with behavior is you're trying to influence people through their research process onto your website. If they're interested now, they need to see your ad now. And if they see your ad now, they need to get to the right area of your website so that they can call a sales guy or fill out a quote or fill out a form. This is the problem-solving portion of programmatic. If someone has a problem, they go to the internet to try to find it. If you're the solution, programmatic advertising allows you to put your solution right in front of that person. And again, the types of ads we're serving here, video and banner ads for the most part. So the next tool, if you don't do any of this stuff we talked about today, this is something that you have to go back and install if you don't have it for your website. It's site retargeting. Very, very basic. This is what you see through Amazon and Walmart and Groupon, all these big consumer companies. If you go to their website, you're picking up a cookie. If you show a behavior on their website, you're picking up an even more detailed cookie, and they're going to be putting ads in front of you across the internet. You have to do the same thing for your website, because typically 98% of your new website visitors are going to come in and they're going to leave without showing any conversion action. Basically, they're going to go in, they're going to read about you and leave. Probably go back to Google and try to find another company to compare you to. So with site retargeting, we pick up on those actions, and when they leave your website, you're able to put a brand recall ad back in front of that person. Hey, don't forget to fill out a form. Or, hey, we're running a promotion this week. Don't forget to come out and use our promo code. So you know this person knows your brand. You know what they're interested in because you know what they've done on your website. So now you can tailor a message to get that person back to your website. The more times they come back, the more comfortable they are with your brand, and the more often they actually fill out a form and convert. So again, if you take anything from this, site retargeting, go get it done. Very, very easy to install. And then I'm going to touch on just a few things with bottom of funnel targeting. So you've done all this effort, you've put out all this effort and spent this money to target people at the top of funnel and kind of push them through to the middle of funnel. But stats tell us when people are ready to convert, they find your website in two ways. They either remember your brand and they go directly to your website, type in your URL, but the most often scenario is they go to Google. They either search for what they want or they search for your brand name. So if we know that they're going to come in through Google when they're ready to buy, we want to make sure that you're at the very top of the search engine. If you're spending all this money putting ads in front of them and you're on page 3 or 4 of Google, you've basically wasted your money because, again, they're coming in through Google. Most of the time, they're searching the keywords that they saw on your ads. So you do yourself a disservice if you don't at least have an SEO plan to get you at the top of the search engines, or the easier way, pay for ads to be at the top of Google. Now, people spend, once they search a keyword, about 5 to 10 seconds before they click something, meaning they're not making it to the bottom of the page, and they're certainly not making it to page 2. That's why people spend so much money paying Google to be in the top 4 results. That's why Google's one of the biggest companies in the world, because they figured this stuff out. People have a short attention span, especially on their phones. When they need something now, they type it in, and they're pretty much clicking in the top 5. So with search engine marketing, you're able to bid on these keywords and place your message right there at the very top of search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing. You're only paying for the clicks here. So it's really nice because you can serve as many ads as you want to when they search your keyword, but if they don't click you, you're not paying for the spend. You're still getting the exposure, but we're only paying for the people who come into your website. Now, in my opinion, this is more of a lead generation campaign, whereas programmatic is more of a brand awareness campaign. Again, simply because people, when they're ready to buy, go to a search engine to get to the website they want to buy from. And we've all seen it before. There's a little ad box next to your listing. I do want to say that you can still follow that same buying journey, and you can still follow that same marketing funnel with paid search. People are going to search everything from long sentences all the way down to how do I build a house, or best builder in Dallas, or how much does it cost to build a house. There's different keywords used at different phases of their buying journey, so you can tailor your message to influence that person wherever they are in their buying journey. If it's a long sentence, you don't want to put a buy now ad in front of them. They're not going to buy, they're not ready for it. But if they're typing in words like pricing, heck yeah, let's put them on that area of your website where they can fill out a quote or actually buy something off your site. And then the last tool I have for you is social media targeting. I really like this tool. The platforms are really, really clean, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And the reason why is because people self-report the data. We're not guessing. People don't typically lie about their job title. They show us what they're interested in by the articles they're reading or what they're sharing or what they're liking. There's a lot of real clean information that you can go off of when you're building audience segments through something like LinkedIn, for example. So with social media targeting, you're able to isolate audiences by building out, kind of similar to the persona technique, through, say, let's call it Facebook. Facebook offers an area on their advertising platform to where you can go and maybe pick income levels, or you can pick people who have purchased homes in the last 10 years who might want to upgrade. Once you have these people, you can serve video ads, you can serve content-based ads, you can put a display ad right there in their feed, so it looks very native. They're consuming content, they're reading posts, they're reading articles, especially on LinkedIn, so these ads look just like the content they're already consuming. So it's a really great way to get your brand in front of them, get a really concise message in front of them, and try to drive engagement even further. And as we know, social media has taken over the world, so there's no better place to get your ad in front of these people. They're there anyways. They're going to be consuming ads anyways. So to me, it's a no-brainer to make sure your message is in front of these people. So to recap, some very basic digital marketing practices that you can take back tomorrow and implement very, very easily. We talked about the buying journey and understanding the importance of targeting all the way across from top of funnel to bottom of funnel, understanding that people have their own self-research that you need to understand before you start marketing. It's going to really help you eliminate waste and really help your campaign become efficient. We talked about different types of data that you can use in order to program this campaign, and then different tools you could use from top of funnel to bottom of funnel, audience-based tools, behavioral-based tools, lead generation type tools with search, and then leveraging social media to make sure your brand's in front of people as they're engaging with their content and their brands and their friends. So that's all I have for you. I hope you guys could pick some of this stuff up, and hope it wasn't too into the weeds, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to come over. I can answer anything you want. And thanks for joining. I appreciate it.